So moving along, let's talk about capital. Capital is undoubtedly the oxygen for this industry. It's critical to your success. The security and home automation business, continues to remain a very capital-intensive business. Most new customers are going to require an investment on your part. And also some of this new technology that is being introduced in the business also means that you may have to make more of an investment in your infrastructure as well to support that. So again, with the kind of backdrop that capital is the oxygen for this industry, let's look at kind of 3 ways to make sure that you have a proper capital structure to compete. Key 1 is you can use your own capital, and you can do that maybe with your own money that you may have or by reinvesting the profits back into your business. I think the benefits of that are you answer to no one but yourself, and you control your own destiny. And that's great, and a lot of dealers do that. A little tip there is if you are going to use your own capital, I think it's really important that you treat your capital as if it was outside capital and police yourself. For example, set up your own internal what's called KPIs or key performance indicators, managing and monitoring your cost to create a customer, what you're spending on marketing, what your G&A infrastructure looks like. And then also, when you're making decisions about your business using your own capital, put your independent investor hat on when thinking about investing in things like capital expenditures. Will this new fleet of trucks help my top-line revenue growth? Will a new piece of software or a new customer relationship manager software give me an ROI or return on my investment? Think like an outside investor with your own capital. And then finally, look, you got to choose your customers carefully. Each one of your customers is an investment. And I often tell our dealers and internally, when you go up to a customer, whether that's a business or a residential customer, we're going to make an investment of anywhere between $1,200 and $2,000 in that customer. And I ask our people, ask yourself, would you invest $2,000 of your own money in this business, knowing that we need to keep that customer for 3 or 4 years? And if the answer is no, or if you're scratching your head a little bit, well, you shouldn't invest our capital. So, really think like an investor. The next way to raise capital for your business is using bank debt. And I've been fortunate in my career, I've raised about pretty much close to $2 billion of debt via a variety of lending sources, all of which we're going to list here. And as you look at bank debt, the lending markets have historically and continue to be really, really supportive of the business that we're in. These businesses are very predictable. There's a few kind of key performance indicators that will really let you see what's going on in the space. And lenders continue, as I said before, to be really supportive of the space. So what types of lenders are there? Well, there's 3 tiers of lenders that you can choose to engage with. There's your local or your regional broad-based lenders, and generally they're probably good anywhere in the $1 to $10 million range. And then there's option 2. There's larger, what I call club banks, very specialized lenders in the space. Companies like the Private Bank and Capital Source, a lot of the lenders that you see advertising in the publications like Scott's. And they're usually invested, $10 million up to $100 million pieces of the capital structure. And then finally, which is what I use at the company I'm running today, there's large syndicated lenders, which is a group of very large institutions that will gather together and invest in a piece of debt that's usually rated by rating agencies like Standard & Poor's and Moody's. Those deals are a little bit more complex. They're a little bit more expensive to set up. But again, if you're looking to capitalize your company north of $100 million, that's probably the route that you're going to take. How do these lenders lend? They usually lend against contracts, and their lending multiples, i.e. what they'll advance, are usually based on EBITDA, which is your earnings before interest, taxes, and depreciation, So your EBITDA multiple and a multiple of your recurring revenue. As with some of these other slides that we're doing here, all of these have tips and things that you should look out for. So, tip one when you're looking at bank debt is regardless of which type of lender that you're going to choose, your financial house should always be in very, very strict order. Meaning you should consider spending the money to have your financials prepared by a CPA firm. The best thing that you can do is have your financials audited. That is something that people think costs a fortune. It really doesn't. A local firm can audit your books. I've seen prices anywhere between $20,000. I mean, obviously it can go up into 7 figures for larger companies. But having either well done financials by a CPA or audited financials by a CPA firm will really make going into a bank a lot more easier because those financials will be viewed as very, very firm by lenders. Historical data is also very, very important. You should make sure that you always have 3 to 5 years of historical data and also showing trends in the business. For instance, your attrition may have gone up last year due to Hurricane Harvey. Be prepared to explain that and show, why there's been kind of peaks and valleys sometimes in the amount of customers you put on or your attrition rates. I can't stress enough having good financials, having historical data, and then lastly, having key metrics that you monitor and manage, such as attrition, your cost to create a customer. And I'm also seeing more and more lenders are actually asking about customer satisfaction data. I'm seeing lenders ask, well, are your customers happy? I don't want to just look at the attrition data. Do you have any survey information? Do you have any direct feedback? And I also can't minimize social media. Don't think your lenders are not going to go on social media sites and see what your customers are saying about you. You have to monitor those sites very, very carefully. A, for make sure that the reviews are accurate, and then B, see if you have any trends. I've also seen lenders look at sites like Indeed or Glassdoor to see what the mood is like inside the company and how morale is inside the company. So again, we're in a different era now where data is a lot more available to people, and banks will look at some of those things that historically they weren't able to, or they just didn't before because it was kind of a different mindset. And the third source is the dealer program. And dealer programs are interesting because it can enable you to grow while keeping a portion of your production, or you can monetize all your customers immediately in real time. So a dealer program can enable you to maybe sell a few customers and then keep a few customers and build a portfolio. I think some of the benefits of a dealer program: you have limited financial exposure as opposed to holding customers yourself. Whoever the purchaser is, whoever the dealer is, they are going to take on their credit risk long term. A lot of dealer programs have the ability to let you leverage their purchasing power to a larger buying group so you can buy better and get your creation costs down. And then, using a dealer program really lets you focus on 1 or 2 things, like simply selling and installing, and then offloading some other things like service, billing, retention, and marketing to your dealer program. So again, wrapping up key 1, those 3 areas of capital, I think they're all available, and there's a lot of options in each one of them, and I think, again, it's a great time to be in this space.